Thank you so much. I'm absolutely honored to be on this call. And more importantly, I have to give the utmost respect to yourself, Scott, and all the guys behind the scenes. I don't know when you sleep. I don't know when you eat. But thank you so much for the kind words. And I'm humbled to be on this call to be able to share this information. Guys, look, for everybody on this call, welcome. I can see so many on the Zoom. I can see so many on the Facebook Live right now. And I'm 37 years old, and in that category, I'm still classed as a millennial. So, you know, us millennials, we love social media. And so with that, please, on the Facebook right now, you can go and share. You can start a watch party. You can interact and tag people on this right now. And I'm looking at it going crazy here. And I heard Angela mention all of the places. And now I'm starting to see a lot of people from the UK jumping on the call as well. Texas, Dallas, I can see Tampa, Florida, been out there a lot long ago. London's in the house, Ireland, so Europe is there too. But like I said, it's an absolute honor and pleasure to be able to share this with you. There's something here that is catching a lot of attention, and I'm going to share with you the information. But before I do that, it's very, very important you understand my background and as to how I got involved in this industry. And I think for you guys now, most people on this call may have had a different upbringing to what I had. For 16 years, I was a professional soccer player in the UK, and I was floating around in a bubble for 16 years, and that bubble burst very, very quickly. And as Angela mentioned, I have two daughters now that are 10 and 12, ruling the roost here. I've had to bribe them to stay out because, you know, we're still on lockdown here, so we're doing everything from home. I've had to bribe them to stay out of the room. And with that being the case, I realized that I was the sole provider, but I wasn't actually in control of my money. I wasn't actually in control of my life. And actually something quite fitting with this presentation here, which coincides with the transformation into business, which I think many people on this call resonate with. And so with that, I've got my utmost pleasure to be able to share this information with you. And I will put this up now. I've got the Facebook Live streaming here. And I'm actually going to share with you my story as we go through these slides, because there's many parts of these slides here that I resonate with in a big, big way. Okay, so I'm just going to make sure. I know there's a bit of a delay on here, but I can see it. Fantastic. Right, the slides are up. So guys, there's a brand new concept that is live right now called Vibe Rides. And this is catching a lot of attention. And for myself to be part of this company at the very, very beginning is, as I said, very, very humbling, but also something that we know that we can actually help many other people out there. The hashtag for our company here is Choose Your Vibe. Okay. Now, Choose Your Vibe, it's about taking the power of tech and entrepreneurship and handing it back to people out there that are looking at ways to become business owners. Okay. Now, before I go through this presentation, we always do this disclaimer. This is very, very important for you. Our philosophy here is about the it factor. Okay. And the it factor is about integrity and transparency. Vibe Rides cannot and will not make any guarantees about the ability to get results with what we're about to show you here. This is totally and utterly down to your own hard work, time, and effort. As a professional sportsman, I could go on the field and there was never ever a guarantee of a win if I didn't put in the hard work, time, and effort along with the people that are around me. It's exactly the same in any industry that you're in, and especially with Vibe Rides. So look, take a screenshot of this, go through it, and understand with the disclaimer, it is important. However, there is a concept here that can potentially help you. Now, the world is changing right now, and this here is something that I want to share with you my own perspective on. I've never been in a 9-to-5 working world myself, okay? I was getting paid doing something that I absolutely loved as a professional sportsman. However, I wasn't brought up in an environment around entrepreneurs, around business owners. I wasn't told about diversification and passive income. I wasn't brought up around this at all. And at 28 years old, that bubble burst and I hadn't managed my money very well because nobody had taught me. Everything that came in went out every month. And I was living from paycheck to paycheck, but didn't realize. And you know why? This slide here sums it up. This actually could be the timeline for my mother and my father. They're both 70 years old today. They still work. They both have a pension, but they still work today because they've been in the normal cycle of working for 52 and 53 years all their life, of which most people are in that kind of cycle themselves. The average person these days right now has 5 different career changes. Gone are the days of one job for 50 years. My mum and my dad, definitely. Actually, my dad's just been laid off of work and he can't retire. How has that actually happened? And so if they weren't brought up around entrepreneurship and business mindsets, and they were going on this journey of being undervalued, my mum overworks. I mean, she's still in her office sometimes at 8 p.m. at night because she loves to help people. I was shocked at how much she makes per year. She's underpaid. And then she's aged out. And even right now, when she's at a point where she should be enjoying life, she's not. She's stressed. And so therefore, I realized at the age of 27, 28 years old, when my bubble burst very, very quickly, I was like, how have I managed to get into this financial position? And it was because I've been brought up on that environment. And that's not hating on my mum and my dad. That's actually, I thank them. It's a blessing because it's taken me until that age to realize I could have gone into that same cycle. And so I wanted to figure out a way to come out of that. And that coincides nicely with what this company has created here and part of the gig economy. For me, when I saw gig economy, I was like, what does gig economy mean? And gig economy means that people have side hustles and gigs on the side that they are doing to make extra income. Right now, we have the doorbell ringing near enough twice a day. Amazon deliveries, left, right, and center. I mean, this lockdown has been amazing for us, for our family. But in terms of Amazon, oh my good God, I need to change the logins because my kids are able to order, okay? They can use Alexa here to actually order by speaking to it, okay? So it's about working smarter and getting more done. It's app-based. Gig economy is app-based driven. And it creates new and bigger opportunities for people that didn't have opportunities before. My mum and my dad were not able to use apps and the internet to create additional income back then. They were in the old traditional model. Times are changing now. And this is super exciting for everybody. But why do most people never get ahead of the curve? It's because they're stuck in the hamster wheel. They're stuck in that hamster wheel and they don't know how to get out of it. And right now, if there's ever an opportunity to maximize on the technology that is out there and to be able to create multiple streams of income, it's now. And this part here, this is the defining moment for me. Around 7 years ago, I was 37 now, but around 30 years old, I was at a point where I was like, I need to find a way to get out of being reliant on the football club paying me and build my own business. Sadly, I had no academical background. Okay, my parents couldn't give me any money to invest in anything, and I had no money to invest. It was quite embarrassing, but you know what? It's the story of me that has helped me get to the point I'm at now. And I was told, when I was looking for opportunities, I was told to read a book called Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. This totally and utterly changed my life. And in the book, it talked about a cash flow quadrant, which you can see here. And this quadrant, when I looked at it, I was kind of looking and I was saying, okay, where am I in this quadrant? We have the letter E in the top left. E stands for an employee, somebody that has a job. S in the bottom left stands for self-employed, somebody that owns a job. B in the top right is a business owner owned by a system, where you own a system. And I stands for investor, where the money actually works for you. Now, when I started to read this book, it was saying 95 to 97% of the population are on the left-hand side. They're either an employee or self-employed. Whereas the top 5 to 3% are on the right-hand side. And actually, those that are employed and self-employed normally fund the business owners, the investors. So I was sat there and I was looking at it and I was thinking, okay, cool. How do we get over to the other side? And whereabouts am I as a professional sportsman? And I realized that I was an employee. I was going, my dad's an employee. My mum's an employee. My partner's an employee. And then I looked at it and I was like, oh my God, I'm an employee as well. where my boss actually controlled my time and money. I was told what time to be in. I was told what time I had to go to sleep. I was told what I had to eat. Okay. And from that, there was a restriction on how much I could make. And so I can resonate with many, many people right now that are out there that only have one income stream as an employee. And when you take the self-employed, my older sister owns her own beautician. Okay, she's her own beauty place. And so from that, I was looking at my sister. She's got two venues now that she has, and she has no time. She is absolutely drained. She's basically, her customers control her time and her money. And if any of you are self-employed, I'm pretty sure many of you can resonate with this. So with that being the case, I was looking at this and I'm thinking there's many other people out there. How do you get over to be a business owner? And I wanted to figure that out. If you don't have 10, 20, 30,000 to invest in a company or a business, and you have no background in business at all yourself of actually learning how to do it, how do you get over there? But if you can become a business owner, you control your time and your money. And that's what we're going to be sharing with you here. It's about business owners have created systems, okay? And if you can create a system, this is where systems will be able to generate the income for you without you having to do as much work. Now, if you have a look at this here, on the left-hand side, as an employee and self-employed, active effort. You spend too much time on the wrong side of the money curve. And I know there's many people on this call that can probably resonate with this. Whereas on the right-hand side, it's about generating passive income, passive effort. You're using others' time to leverage off of that. And when you're on the right-hand side of the money curve, this is when you can really start to see the fruits that many people want to have. This is how you get into the top 5 to 3%. Now, to get to the B quadrant, you need to basically, when you take an overview of this, you have to think like an entrepreneur, okay? You have to step outside of the way that my mum and dad have been conditioned all of their life, okay? You don't have a boss. Maybe you don't need a degree. I don't have a degree, okay? You don't have any experience, but others do the work for you. With Vibe Brides and what we're about to share with you here, Vibe Brides can help you elevate and gain the leverage that you're looking for. Now, the DRIVESHARE industry is exciting, very, very exciting. For me now, I've used RideShare many, many times, and I haven't even paid much attention as to how the numbers have grown until I started to get involved in this industry here. And the timing is right now. I mean, there's other companies that have broken down the doors to make it easier for DRIVESHARE and RideShare to be available now. But when you look at the numbers, the timing couldn't be better. There's 98 million RideShare passengers, but only 5.3 million drivers. And this is growing at a very, very fast rate. So in terms of where will this be in the next 2, 4, maybe 6 years, I'm telling you now, there'll be more drivers than what you're seeing today. So the opportunity is there. Now with Vibe Ride, the mobility solutions is moving. Vibe is moving from taking it from just people, where when you associate RideShare for many people, people think of just picking up passengers. When actually now you can take this and move it into other domains like people, products, and services now. How many people out there have used RideShare maybe to order food? How many people have used it to order other products and services? So with Vibe Ride, we're moving into that domain. We have other mobility solutions. And we want to introduce you to the next generation of DRIVESHARE. And that is Vibe Ride. I mean, this is totally unique. For me personally, I have not actually come across any other company that has created something here that for me now, I mean, it is going to impact thousands of other people's lives. And we are in at the very beginning of this. Now, with Vibe Ride, there are 3 ways that you can vibe, okay? You can take a ride, you can drive, and you can overdrive. Now, I want to go through all 3 of these for you to give you a good idea. Now, in terms of ride, this is where it gets very, very exciting, because what they've done is they've put together something here that we give a hashtag of just different. The company with Angela, Scott, and many others, they've done surveys with all the RideShare customers out there to find out what was good and what wasn't so good. So they took all the good and they put it into our platform, and all the things that weren't so good, they moved them out of the way. They wanted to create something here that was just different, which is what we have. Now with our app, we have different rider preferences. You can customize your ride. I'm going to share with you this, and this is super exciting. You can actually earn rider rewards. So you're incentivized to actually be a rider for Vibe Rides. And something that is very, very important here for me, guys, I mean, super important. I have 2 daughters. I have 3 sisters, okay? They have 2 daughters. So we've got something there in the middle that you can see called Girl Power. And for me, when I was told this by our CEO and absolute genius of a man, Mr. Holton Buggs, when I was shown this on stage, I was like, wow, this is going to help so many people out there. As a father with females in the house, they're going to be leaving the house. They're going to be going out. Imagine this. Imagine a woman, maybe late at night, they needed to get a ride share, but they're not comfortable. That was one of the things we found out. They're not comfortable being picked up by a male late at night. Well, they don't have to. They can choose Girl Power, and they'll only be picked up by females. I mean, this is absolutely incredible. And for me now, my partner, when we saw this, we knew that what Mr. Buggs was creating was something that's just totally different, guys. Now, when you have this app, you can actually go in and you can customize it specific for you. It's about the vibe of the ride, okay? So you can choose things like if you want the driver to speak to you. You can choose, before the ride arrives, you can choose the temperature of the car, okay? You can choose if you want the windows open. You can choose which music playlist you want, okay? You can also choose the types of maps. Here we've got Girl Power, which you can have switched on and switched off. Now, in terms of additional safety on top of that, not only do we have Girl Power, we have a safety alert feature. We have route tracking. In terms of the rider and the driver, it's only on a first name basis, okay? And this is only the beginning. If you look at other companies that launched as to what they had at the beginning to what they have now, if this is what we have already, then I cannot wait to see what they're going to be bringing out in the next 12 to 24 months. I can't. Now, on top of that, Vibe is giving back. We have a reward system too for the rider. We have loyalty and user benefits whenever they use it. You can also share the Vibe as a rider and get paid. And on top of that, we have travel exclusives because some of the partnerships that we have. And actually right now, we've been giving away trips, overnight stays for customers already as little incentives and thank yous for starting to use the platform. Okay, so this is just an overview already of what we have at the very beginning of the launch. Now with Vibe Ride, okay, there are 3 ways that you can earn. And this is, I mean, we've done the numbers over and over on this right now. And this is when it gets very, very exciting. If you're a numbers person, then this is something you really want to pay attention to, okay? There's 3 ways to earn. On the left, you can earn when you drive. In the middle, you can earn when others drive. And on the right, you can earn when customers ride, okay? So we're going to go through this. And we're on the left side of the quadrant here when you drive, okay? So in terms of that, there is active income. When you come and be a driver for Vibe Ride, it's totally free for you to be a driver, okay? You pay your background checks and then you can earn when you go out there and drive. So if you're driving for other ride shares, you can still do that, but you can also drive for Vibe Ride, okay? You can earn when you drive up to 70% of the ride after your first 50 rides, okay? This is really important for people to understand because of when they start to understand the concept of the Vibe Ride and passengers wanting a safer environment, as a driver, this is a great incentive because they know there's many passengers out there and right now, less drivers, okay? Let me give you a breakdown of what the potential earnings are of how much you could earn here as an example. Of a $5,000 a month driving, how is that broken down? Well, that works out roughly around $250 per day, 20 days of driving, just 20 days of driving. And that is an average of 17 rides a day. And these rides only at $15. Now, when I was in Las Vegas, I know that RideShare was costing me more than $15 a ride, for sure. But you know, the cool part is, for you drivers out there, this isn't including any of those airport rides. And I can tell you, I never paid $15 for an airport ride. It was way more than that. So what we're trying to do here is we want to be very, very transparent with people. We don't want to oversell something. We would rather under-deliver so that when you see what the potentials are, you really do understand the potential of this. Okay? So this is really important for you guys to really get an idea as a driver what the potentials are there at the very beginning. Now, the second way that I mentioned, and this is where you start to become a business owner, is the overdrive. The overdrive is very, very exciting for people. This is when you can start to go on the right side of the quadrant and start to get your own passive income. You can earn when others ride. You can earn when others drive. I'll slow down there a second. So when you're in the overdrive, you can actually earn from riders and from drivers. Okay, and I'm going to share with you how. If you were to go and introduce riders to this, it is very, very simple. We have a free app in the App Store that you can go and share it with people to download for free, and they are your rider. They are yours for life. And let me give you an example of what the company are putting together to help you get more riders than you actually speak to. Let's say, for instance, on this example here, that you were to go and introduce just 10 people to be a rider with VibeRide, okay? Just 10 people. And let's say you don't speak to anybody else, all right? Well, each customer here, we've got a referral program that's coming soon that we're going to actually incentivize them to share it with 5 people. Now, how many of you out there have shared things? I've shared Facebook with people. I've told people about other apps out there. I never got paid for it. Never. Okay? There are other rideshare companies that you could potentially go and share that you would get a one-time gift, and that was it. And so you're not really incentivized to go and share restaurants and cinemas and anything else that we tell people about that we like, okay? But here, what we're doing with VibeRide is that we're making it so that the customers can incentivize, or the riders can incentivize other riders. So imagine this. Imagine 10 riders that you introduce for free with the app, and they've got your code now, and they get told that they will get, each customer, when they get 5 other riders for free, they get a free ride. This is coming. So now 10 riders you introduce, just 10. They introduce 5. That's an extra 50 riders now that are under your umbrella. And if those 50 riders, just do it again one more time, that means now an extra 250 riders are involved, which as a total, you will have 310 riders total. So remember, you only shared it with 10 people who introduced 5, who introduced 5. That's a total of 310 riders. Now, let's say that these riders average per month are spending $50 on RideShare, okay? Now, that equals to 3% of that comes back to you, 3%. This works out at around $465 per month coming in for you, which over a year is over $5,500. $5,500 from introducing 10 people, which compounded over time just for them sharing it out for free. This is just the rider passive model. This is an exciting part of it now, guys. And remember, we are in at the very, very beginning. So to get the rider base, it's there for us. And once you have that customer, it is assigned to you for good. Now, in terms of the driver side, if you want to introduce drivers, we're showing you a very, very conservative model here. Let's say this is you on the left, and you went and introduced 10 drivers to say, hey, come and drive for VibeRide. You can do that with the overdrive, okay? So you can introduce other drivers. Now, let's say that these 10 drivers, that their average fares per year comes in at $50,000. That is it, okay? I know there's many out there, we've done the studies as well, that are higher, but let's say that it's $50,000 per year that's coming in. So if 10 drivers all generating $50,000 worth of fares coming in, so 10 times 50,000, that's a total of $500,000. $500,000. from the drivers and their fares that are coming in, 3% of that comes back to you. You would make an extra $15,000 in commissions just from 10 drivers driving, just from 10, okay? This is really important for people to understand because of they can actually go out there and start introducing drivers right now to come and be a driver for VibeRide. And once they've done that, they don't have to tell them when to drive. They're going to drive anyway. They're going to get, and whenever it flashes on their app and they get a rider every single time, you'll get 3% of that ride every single time. If you want to bump these numbers up and play around with it, you can do so. But we want to keep it super conservative right now so that then you understand the potential of it just from having 10 drivers, guys. So to give you an overview right now of the old model and the new model, well, on the left-hand side, you've got the RideShare where people drive and it's active income, okay? Other RideShare companies do this where you're on the left-hand side of the quadrant where you're an employee or self-employed. Now, the companies, they pay you to start up, okay? They pay for your background checks and they set this up, which sounds good, but your earnings are capped. Your earnings are capped. And on top of that, the shareholders have the say. On this example here, your earnings are capped at 70 to 75%. 25% to 30% goes to the shareholders. You have no choice. They have all the say. Whereas on the D3, on the overdrive, on the right-hand side, this is where you could start to generate the passive income. And you start to become on the right side of the quadrant. You're a business owner, okay? You can actually own your customers for life. As soon as they go and get your QR code and they're signed up, that is it. They are your customer and it's free for them to be a customer. How many customers do you want? In terms of a fleet, here's an interesting thing. On the overdrive, I've spoken to drivers before. And what if you said to them, hey, you know when you drive, you make money, but when you don't drive, you still get paid from the customers and other drivers? They say no. They say no. Well, what if there was a way that even when you don't drive, you could still get paid by introducing other drivers and other customers? You can build your fleet. And when these drivers join the company, they're yours for life. Now, here's something I didn't even know about, the tax benefits. For every mile that is driven that you take, 57 cents of the dollar there will come back to you or be taken as a tax benefit. This is huge for many people out there that are generating a big income because you can write that off. It's really important for people to understand this. As I've come out of the world of an employee, I didn't have to look after my taxes. That was done. Since coming into the business world, I've had to study this and understand. And actually, there's more money on the table that you can take if you understand how to maximize this. And our very own CEO, Mr. Holton Buggs, is going to be educating drivers on this too. 70 to 75% you will get for driving. 12% of the fare will go into the DRIVESHARE pool, which is huge, and only 18% comes back to the company. They want to be putting the money back into the company. We want to be making sure that the drivers and the riders are the ones that are shouting from the rooftops about this company. And this concept, I have never seen it done before. Never. And already, as I said, we are catching the eye of many people globally. And this is running already, guys. Now, we want you to get started with us. We want you to be part of the start of this unique, never been done before concept of VibeRide. How can you get started and be part of this right now? Well, with the VibeRide Overdrive Ambassador program here, straight away on the left-hand side there, you can register with the business today, a one-time fee of $49.95, straight away, okay? On top of that, then you have the Overdrive pack, which will cost you just $200. That $200 will cover your background check, your vehicle inspection, plus you will be getting paid from it, and you will be able to go and share your QR codes with other people to be drivers and to be riders. If you want to know more about this, you can go back to the person that introduced you and they can give you a full overview of it, guys. But it's very, very important to know that you can be part of this business right now, today. And as we put it here, We hashtag it as choose your vibe and just different. You can go straight to vibeoverdrive.com right now to go and get all of the information. Do you know what the craziest thing is right now? I'm based in London, UK, and we're able to build this from our living room right now. Introducing drivers, introducing riders, and this is only the beginning. So guys, look, I'm not going to take up any more of your time. It's been an absolute honor to be able to share this history-making company right now, to be in at the infancy of it. And I think from you guys understanding what we have here, go back to the person that introduced you, get more information as quick as possible. And I look forward to seeing you on this journey. My name's David Hunt. It's been an absolute honor to be on here. And I'm looking forward to seeing the numbers in the next 3 to 6 months. Angela, I'm going to hand this back to you now. Thank you so much for inviting me on here. I can see the Facebook's going off here, and I know the chat. I try not to get distracted. I'm somebody that I can't multitask anyway.
That was excellent. Awesome. Thank you for sharing your insight, your experience, and of course your passion. Loved it. Awesome. Awesome. Thank you for being on the call. Much appreciated. Everyone, thank you. Everyone, just like Mr. David Hunt said, let's get you to the B quadrant. Get with the person that invited you to the call. Now remember, you can share this. It's been recorded. It's on Facebook. So it's on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 11 a.m. CST, Central Standard Time. Go to Facebook if you've missed it. Try to be on the calls. Get yourself to the next level of business. Get yourself onto the B quadrant, and let's get vibing. Have a super duper day. Be safe, be well. We love you, and we will see you soon.